Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely mind-bending. We're talking about the ultimate theoretical megastructure. It's a concept so massive and frankly so ambitious that if we could actually pull it off, it would permanently solve all of our energy needs and literally redefine what it means to be an advanced civilization. So, let's get right into it. Just imagine for a second a world where energy scarcity is just gone. Zero blackouts, no fuel shortages, no limits whatsoever. Now consider this. The sun pumps out more energy in a single second than humanity has consumed in our entire history. It's wild. But right now, almost all of that power just radiates out uselessly into the empty void of space. If we could somehow capture even a tiny fraction of that lost power, our potential would just absolutely skyrocket. But, the ultimate hurdle here isn't just about crunching the math or cracking the physics. It's really a test of our endurance as a species. Because the big question is, can humanity actually last long enough to finish a project of this magnitude? We're talking about an endeavor so colossal that it would take multiple generations to complete.
Okay, moving on to section 1. What exactly is a Dyson sphere? Let's take a look.
So, when most people hear the word sphere, they probably picture this giant solid metal ball entirely enclosing the sun, kind of like a colossal light bulb. But realistically, the physics of a solid shell just don't work. It would be completely unstable. What we're actually talking about here is a Dyson swarm. Picture a massive, highly coordinated constellation made up of millions, maybe even billions of individual satellites and solar correctors, all orbiting in perfect harmony. They'd work together to soak up that solar radiation and beam the power right back to us. The sheer volume of energy our sun produces is almost too big to wrap our heads around. And that leads us to a pretty dramatic question. Do we actually have what it takes to build something this enormous? I mean, could we literally put a star in a cage? That brings us to section 2, constructing the ultimate megastructure. How on earth do we build this thing? Well, actually, on Earth is the wrong phrase because Earth simply doesn't have enough materials. Even if we strip-mined our entire planet, which obviously we can't do because we still need a place to live, it wouldn't be nearly enough. So our game plan? We'd literally have to take apart other celestial bodies. We'd probably start with Mercury since it's super rich in metals and sits perfectly right there next to the sun. We'd mine Mercury and passing asteroids, build these giant manufacturing factories straight in space to process those materials, and then deploy an absolute army of AI-controlled robots to do all the heavy lifting in an environment that is way too hostile for humans. And to be clear, we aren't just talking about launching a handful of satellites. We're looking at creating an artificial ecosystem of literally billions of mirrors and energy transmitters. The scale of manufacturing we'd need for this completely dwarfs anything humanity has ever even attempted. It's not just a step up, it's a whole new ballgame. And that brings us to the human element. Building a massive swarm like this would take generations. We are looking at a multi-century commitment here. So you really have to wonder, can we stay united long enough to finish the job without, destroying ourselves? Just think about human history. Empires rise and fall, wars break out, politics constantly shift. To pull off a Dyson sphere, humanity would need this singular, unified focus spanning hundreds, maybe thousands of years. Let's move on to section 3, a future of unlimited energy. Let's say we actually pull this off. The rewards are just incredible. With practically limitless, totally clean electricity right at our fingertips, everyday life on Earth, and honestly, way beyond Earth, would transform overnight. The energy it takes to defy gravity, that becomes trivial. We'd be looking at a future filled with flying cities, sprawling space colonies, and enough juice to effortlessly run advanced AI systems that could solve universe-level problems. We'd have vastly faster spacecraft, officially turning us into a true spacefaring civilization. I know, it sounds like an absolute sci-fi utopia, right? The perfect future. But time for a massive reality check. We have to talk about the roadblocks standing in our way. Which brings us to section 4. The biggest problems to solve. Because for every utopian benefit, there is a harsh reality we have to face. Sure, we get unlimited energy, but the construction costs? Astronomical, literally. We get all these cool new space technologies, but then we have to figure out how to protect billions of delicate satellites from deadly solar storms that could just fry their electronics in a second. Then there's the terrifying physics problem of space debris. Billions of satellites means billions of chances for high-speed, catastrophic collisions. And honestly, perhaps the toughest problem of all isn't even an engineering one. It's the deep political disagreements right back here on Earth over who actually controls the swarm and who gets the power. Now, if this is so incredibly hard for us to figure out, it naturally makes you wonder something else. Since the universe is so old and so unimaginably vast, has another advanced civilization out there already succeeded in building one of these?
Let's jump into our final section, Section 5. Are we ready to build?
Believe it or not, this alien theory isn't just a fun thought experiment for philosophers. Actual astronomers are actively looking for this right now. Scientists scan the night sky specifically for stars that flicker unnaturally, because a giant Dyson swarm would periodically block its star's light from our point of view and give off a very specific signature of excess infrared heat. Finding those anomalies completely guides how we search the cosmos for other advanced civilizations. Now, it's just a possibility, not hard evidence yet, but man, it completely changes how we look up at the stars.
But to keep ourselves grounded for a second, let's look at our current reality. Right now, we're still using chemical rockets, and we've barely even scratched the surface of our own moon. Building a Dyson Sphere requires massive, paradigm-shifting advancements. We'd need completely flawless advanced robotics, the ability to just effortlessly mine other planets, and mega manufacturing happening entirely in the zero-gravity vacuum of space. So realistically, we are generations away from even laying the very first proverbial brick.
But hey, let's not lose hope. While a Dyson Sphere sounds purely like science fiction today, we have to remember that things that once seemed completely impossible, like airplanes, the internet, or the smartphone in your pocket, are now totally normal parts of our everyday lives. Humanity is practically defined by its ability to innovate. So maybe, yes maybe, thousands of years from now, our descendants will look up into the sky and view the sun not just as a star, but as exactly this, the greatest power station ever built. So I'm going to leave you with a provocative thought to chew on. If we actually had the tech, the robots, and all the materials ready to go right now, would you support taking apart a planet to build a Dyson Sphere? Do the rewards of totally unlimited energy outweigh those cosmic risks? Think about it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep questioning the universe.